Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Circle Debate Top 5 of the Week here on week number 20. I'm your host, Devious One Ivan C, alongside with the beaters of the beaters, the Cardonas, the Seidels, the Murphys, I don't know what else, the Kellerman of all time, Max, your long-lost son. He is Matthew Steamboat. That's never gonna go away. Someone needs to teach him Spanish. Yes. What is it? What's that computer? What's that learning language?
Duolingo.
That or Rosenrod, right? Or was it
Rosetta Stone?
No, Rosetta Stone.
Shameless plug.
That's right.
Rosetta Stone en español.
See, and also we have I am a real American. Fight for your right for everything. And there he is with bandana. Fight for your right is a great American hero, Mike. That's right, the great American hero, Mike Lopez.
That's right.
That's right.
Python power, baby.
That's right. 12-inch pythons. Damn it. That's good shit.
Fight for your rights, great American hero, Mike.
That's right. That is right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is our top 5 of the week for week 20 as we give our top five world's greatest champions of all time. This is going to be very interesting because we're going back to the past to the present. Maybe I don't know if they have their one of the present top 5. We don't know. Any organization, obviously, it doesn't have to be WWE. Could be WCW, the wrestling. Could be ECW. Could be Ring of Honor. Could be New Japan. Could be AEW. Could be NWA. Anything. So let's go ahead and start off with the Kellerman of all Kellermans, Mr. Matthew Steamboat. Take it away, sir.
So I was kind of like reorganizing my list just now. And, I'm going to kind of go, of course, most of us prefer to go 5-1. I'm going to go back to do 5-1, of course. Nothing different about today. But so I'm going to start off. So these are, who we thought were the greatest champions or favorite champions. So I'm going to go like this. My number 5, a little bit of surprise, but not too much. I really like how he was with the belt, especially because he was really big and scary and mean and, and especially the person who was behind him, because it's kind of like one directly leads to the other. Big Van Vader.
What type of champion, though?
A little bit of both, WCW and IWGP. Even as All Japan too. He was the last. He was before a few other Gaijin champions. I think it was Vader, and then it was Lesnar, and then it was Kenny Omega. In terms of non-Japanese IWGP champions. It was
what about Stan Hansen? He never won it, right?
No, I mean in order of the last.
The last ones. Oh, okay.
Of the later 2000s, because I think it was Vader, and then it was Brock Lesnar, and then Kenny Omega, and then Jay White, just for non-Japanese, and he was just the big, mean, scary people when he defeated Antonio Inoki. I think that the one where they started a huge riot and they were throwing the cushions everywhere.
That shit was chaos, man. Wow. I mean, but that fight, it was a great match, though. I mean, you got to give it up to Vader, man. Rest in peace. God rest his soul, man. Great performer of all time.
Amazing, big, scary, great big guy, great heel. Love the moonsault. I think the other thing is how I discovered him was his match versus Sting, and he had Harley Race. He had Harley Race as his manager. He did the Vader bomb, and he does the moonsault, And Harley Race actually, I got to see the diving headbutt in that match when he was managing him, and that actually brings me to number 4, Harley Race.
As the NWA champion, right?
NWA. Really, I've heard about how strong he was, stories, I think the most insane story I heard about him was You know, no, like rest in peace, Harley Race. You know, no demeaning to your memory. But I thought this was the most insane thing I probably ever heard, because like there was a big. Once again, we're going back to another big riots, because like back in the old days, like kayfabe was the real deal. We believe, like they believed that.
Definitely.
You know, kayfabe was Bible, and everybody, when something went wrong, riots broke out. So there's like a big fight going on, and you know Harley Race trying to contain the fight. I think he was throwing chairs. I think he threw people, and then he threw a person in a wheel. He threw a wheelchair with a person still inside the wheelchair at the crowd that was rioting out.
Yes,
And when I overheard,
Jim Cornette did explain that story.
yeah, it was that story.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why I was like when I heard that part, my jaw was like, how is that? Like think about the weight of the wheelchair. Like when you lift somebody up, you're usually like go from the legs and the weight's like distributed out.
Right,
and when they're
right.
sitting down in a chair, the weight's all concentrated. And wheelchairs are like heavy pieces of steel, so it's like, you know, it's probably one of the toughest champions. And I think it was it Ric Flair or Dusty Rhodes that first took that title off of him? It was one of those.
Ric Flair.
That had to be Flair.
Flair was the first one.
You know, I know they're gonna probably somebody might mention Dusty Rhodes later on. He's not on this list, sadly, as much as I love him, because his thing was more about like chasing the title than holding it. So I'm gonna go number 3 with somebody I've mentioned before that I love so much, the Great Muta. You know, he did great as NWA champion. I think he was. I didn't freeze. Did I freeze?
No.
Yeah, I thought I froze for a second. Still, no. So, yeah, he was good. He was NWA champion, and he was IWGP heavyweight champion. And it was really cool, like seeing him unite those two belts. It was like one of the rare times in history you get to see those belts, or both of those belts on this one person. You know,
it was rare, right? Because he was one of the first ones, though, right? No, he was the first one to ever do that.
I mean, there's
so many, right? I mean, it's more than gotta be at least.
Fujinami. I think it was maybe Tatsumi Fujinami was like the other one. Yeah, maybe it was, but I think there was some sort of debacle with like whether the NWA recognized it or not. So
that was the only problem that the NWA had, if you remember, like the title itself. There was like 3 different fucking NWA titles. One that was recognized as the real NWA compared to the other, like it was only meant to know for
Ron Simmons. Vader had the Ron Simmons. Vader and Ron Simmons had like the same belt. That one, it was kind of had like the blue parts of it with the globe on it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the big gold belt. It was like the other one.
Right.
But yeah, like Muta was I like how he looks with championship belts. He was an All Japan champion as well, and he started his own organization, Wrestle One. I forgot if he held the title there. You know, he's currently in he's still wrestling now. He's in Pro Wrestling Noah. He beat Miyahara, this other wrestler named Miyahara, and he beat him with a figure 4 leg lock. So he's still going now, you know. He's still got like a lot of the same body language, you know. I think he judged an AEW match recently too. He was like they brought him on board as a judge as well. He's in case it went into overtime, he was there just in case. But it came to pinfall. But yeah, Muta was my number 3. Number 2. All right, we're getting down into it. Ric Flair.
Woo!
Like I think it's kind of like the thing people talk about. You know, you're wondering what year it is based on who's the president or who's the king. You know, but or what time period it is. It's like, you know, Ric Flair held that title so many times. It's like I wonder if you're in a time machine, you get out and ask, who's NWA champion? And they say Ric Flair. I'm like, okay, it's either 1981 or it's 1988 or it's 1989 or it's 1993. It's somewhere between 1980 or 1993.
As like NWA and WCW?
Yeah, yeah. Now, if you ask WCW, that's a different. Like I think he held it like a couple more times during the WCW days too. So like it's like kind of like normalcy. It's like who, is the McDonald's down the street still there? Is Ric Flair still champion? Because there's a reason why they give him the belt so many times. People look good with the belt and add value to it, and people that if you beat them for it, they raise you up. Okay.
All righty.
Now, we're getting to my number one pretty quickly.
Drum roll.
I was really careful with this one. Bruno Sammartino.
Okay, that's acceptable because he was the longest reigning world champion of all time.
There's a reason why they kept it on him so long, too.
He sold out Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
And he had great matches with Billy Graham.
Pedro
Morales.
If you beat, I think the main criteria I went by is if you beat this person for the belt and you get that belt and you defeat that person, how good does it make you look in the process?
Well, Billy Graham.
Yeah. Look how good.
Look good.
Yeah. Like you just defeating him once and winning that title once, could elevate you to such a level for as long as Sammartino held that belt. If you beat him for it, that means you did it. You made it.
That was like passing the torch pretty much, and that's what happened. That's what Sammartino did for Billy Graham, because Vince at the time, not senior, was junior, because junior already took over at the time, and he saw potential in superstar Billy Graham.
And while Billy Graham was chasing that belt, he was going, "Ladies, close your eyes and fantasize about the perfect man." You see, you're out there at home drinking your soda pop, eating your French fries and your TV dinners, and while I'm running out in the California desert, drinking mineral water and doing curls, look at my body. Do not touch my body, Vince McMahon. Do not touch my body.
I love it. So you have two honorable mentions.
Two honorable. All right. I'm gonna go with my first honorable is gonna be The Rock.
Ooh.
If you like when it comes to like babyface champions and people hold the belt a while, if you beat The Rock for any WWF or WWE title, or even like Intercontinental, what some of his later reigns tag team, if you beat The Rock for any title, once again that elevates you a lot, because he was one of the biggest stars and one of the most over people that ever was. The crowd, he can make like almost any phrase like fun and work for him. So it's if you beat The Rock, so that's why like after SummerSlam when Lesnar defeated The Rock at SummerSlam, that was like his elevation moment. That was his, passing the torch. You beat him, being The Rock. You could see why John Cena wanted to have that like 2 WrestleManias with him.
You're missing one more. They need one more to call it even. They need a trilogy to end
exactly. Those two. There's a whole reason why, like if I was a few, maybe like a decade older and started and my dream in life was wrestling, I think beating The Rock for the heavyweight title would probably be the same as me wanting to get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That would probably be what I would like if I was 10 years older and, wrestling was my goal. That's like equivalent getting in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nowadays, being The Rock for the heavyweight title. That's not something they give to anybody. The company has to love you if they're going to let you go over The Rock and get the belt at the same time. All right, my other honorable mention. We're going to go with the man whose theme song we were just singing. We're going to go with Hulk Hogan.
Oh, well, let me tell you something, brother.
For all the same reasons as The Rock. If any of these long-running guys, these top guys that everybody knows, especially what years was it Hogan had it? From like 1980?
Well, I don't shit.
Was it like 83 to 86 or 87? Like
80,
he had it.
83 to 87, then got it back in 88 all the way to 1993.
Yeah, like those long. If you beat Hulk Hogan for the heavyweight title, like it's how much the company believes in you, and how much they believe what you could do by beating him.
Okay.
No, if I like now, if I was 20, no, if I was 30, if I was 40 years older.
Oh my God, 4 years younger. If you were, you would have wrestled Hulk Hogan if you want to pass him before. No, oh my God. Oh, see, that's another trilogy where we missed out on, which is The Rock and Hogan. But obviously, they explained why it never happened because it should have been, one apiece. Even how? Well, actually, no, it wasn't even one apiece. The Rock won twice. The other one didn't even count. But it should have been a trilogy between Hogan and The Rock. But obviously, it didn't work out. And in a way, I'm glad it didn't work out. It's fine today. I don't think Hogan needed to prove anything to The Rock anyways. I don't know why they even had the part 2, to be honest. I wasn't really intrigued. That's just me. Just saying. Okay. All right, good shit. That's some good shit. See, I wasn't mad today. See, I was not mad. I didn't go, what? Or what's up with that? At least I didn't do none of that. So, all right. I'm going to start it off. So, number 5. Whew. Yep. I'm going to have to go with American Dream. I have to go with Dusty Rhodes, baby. I have to go with Dusty Rhodes, baby. I had to mention him. I know you said it, man, that he was just chasing for the title, but man, when he won it, it was like, I won't forget when he beat Ric Flair. The crowd went fucking nuts in NWA. I was like, wow. And just seeing that was
Rusty finish named after him.
I love it. I love it, man. He's just a plumber, man. But Dusty Rhodes was one of my favorites. To held the belt, for quite some time, and man, his promos is the shit. It's hard for me to even remember the promos because I don't really remember them.
That's hot times.
That's hot times. It's just so much. Another one right there that Dusty's like shit. I love it. So number 4, I would go with. Ooh. I'm actually gonna go. It's just gonna be, Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with this one right here. I will go with Vern Gagne. The AWA days. When I was paying attention, I was paying attention back in the days when he started, his own territory, the AWA. Vern and his son Greg, Greg Gagne, Vern and Greg Gagne, they were great. Vern was really popular at the time in the Midwest for AWA, and he pretty brought the title to Prestige. His best feuds versus Nick Bockwinkel, one of my favorite feuds of all time, and another great heel too. But Vern being one of the longest reigning AWA champions, but he made that title prestigious, even though he owned the company. But the way how his local fans, the local territory, how they held on to him, and they were like UFC fans going crazy, him winning the belt. Even I think the last one he won, I believe. I forgot who he beat, the last one. But I have to research it again. I do remember as a kid, back then we only had the black box DirecTV, and you were able to watch classics. DirecTV would play AWA, and I just started like, what's this? Started watching AWA since I was, watching it. When I was I believe in junior high school, I started watching it. What the fuck is this? And boom, I saw that. Like, it was fucking crazy. And I fell in love with AWA. Started with the classics, man. So that's my number 4 right there. My number 3, best world champion will have to be, of course, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, you mentioned it earlier. Hogan as the WWF champion. For WCW wasn't my favorite. Nah, it wasn't my favorite with the NW. That's right, brother. That's right, brother. Let me tell you something. Wasn't my I don't know why it wasn't really much my favorite. Him as a WCW champion. I think because his prime was it was well, even with the heel run. It was just you. It was so predictable that you were gonna give it to this guy. You signed him. You took him away from Vince. You bring the yellow and red. Then you turn him heel. You give him the gold. He goes back to yellow and red. Give him the gold again. Bad booking. It was just Hogan was overrated for me in WCW. His prime was already done. That was just, I'm a Hogan fan. Don't get me wrong, but it's just that era was done for him. He should not been champion. Should have been someone else. The same goes, that's my, the same goes for Ric Flair. He even though he's not one of my top 5, but I love it. I'll say he's one of my honorable mentions. So I'm going to mention it right now already. He's one of my honorable mentions, Ric Flair. But my number 2 will be obviously the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. That's right. That's Bret the Hitman Hart as my number 2, because he took that title when he won it for the first time, and when the second time was the best one when he won it from Yokozuna. From there. After WrestleMania 10, he took that title and made it prestige. And he made the matches look great against especially Scott Hall, against, 1-2-3 Kid, against any opponent he defended, even against Diesel, and all the way into with Shawn Michaels, the rivalry. Bret Hart fucking did a phenomenal job as a world champion. And he was known as one of the greatest world champions of all time. That's why he's my number 2. Because he's up there, man. You can't go wrong with Bret Hart on this one. And my number 1, of course, will be that's right. Stone Cold Steve Austin, you son of a bitch.
Put some stank on it. Put some stank on it.
What?
What?
What? What? What?
What?
What?
Put some stank on it.
I have. That's right. I'm trying to keep my composure. Margarita, tequila, vodka,
Bloody Mary, more beer.
Oh, I love that one. I love it. Best promo in the business, like for me, during the Attitude Era. And if it wasn't for Stone Cold Steve Austin to take when he won the WWF title at WrestleMania 14, when he won it from Shawn Michaels, he took that belt, and man, if it wasn't all the way to the horizon, all the way to the top, and because of him, WCW went to shit. Because of his style of performance, his character, and the way how he carried that belt was so fucking amazing. I love it. He pulled it off, and kudos to Stone Cold Steve Austin, because if it wasn't for him, and even though he doesn't want to take credit, Ric Flair said it too. He said, "I'm going to say it right now," in his Hall of Fame speech. He's like, "The hell was the Hulk Hogan? The best one in the world is Stone Cold Steve Austin." It's true, because he did help that territory to be back to the top again. And you can't go wrong with that, having Austin as the number 1 to take, who actually took that brass ring and went all the way with it and made the company what it is to today. And Vince can't take credit for it, not all the way. Austin did the work. You just the creator, but Austin was the one that did everything else. You didn't perform it. So you got to give it to Austin. That's my number 1. So I already mentioned one honorable mention, Ric Flair. So I'm going to have to mention a second honorable mention. And I think it's about time that I should mention this. And I'm surprised that you don't have him in your honorables. I can't believe it. You're a fan of his? It'll be Stang, WCW. I did love WCW Sting. Both.
I like the shapes.
I love both of them because he did a great job as a babyface, especially through his Surfer days and the Crow days. those, I think both of them, he did a great job defending his belts. And especially in the Surfer days, him winning off from Vader, even from Ric Flair, like that was their icon. That was their Hulk Hogan of WCW, was Sting. And Sting took that company to the horizon as well. He's the one that kind of helped it. But then later on, they brought in Hogan and everybody else and kind of fucked everything. Beep, beep, beep. So, that's just how I feel about it. But Sting definitely is my honorable mention. I'm surprised he didn't mention him. He's your favorite wrestler, Matt. What's wrong with you? Why didn't you mention
it when he chases the title. I like it when he's the underdog. Like when he's chasing the belt, like when he's champion, it's all right. But like when he's has to overcome an obstacle, that's like, the better position. When he has to, like, when he's challenging Ric Flair versus when he's defending it,
Okay, all right. All right, now we save the best for last, and that is the great American hero. Take it away.
I need clarification. Disclaimer here. This is the top 5 world champions, right?
Of all time.
Of all time, any organization.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to clear that up. Now we may continue. So my number 5 is CM Punk, the voice of the voiceless. As the champion, you have to bring the people to watch you. And for me, when CM Punk was the champion for those amount of days, 364, I believe it was. I tuned in. I was glued to the TV to see what he would do next, face or heel, which he did a turn mid reign. To me, he delivered as champion, and he should have been in the match with The Rock and Cena, in my opinion.
No, let me say before you go more. This would should have been. It should have been CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Iron Man match, and CM Punk as the world champion, and passing the torch to Daniel Bryan because he was already getting hyped up, and everybody wanted to see that. They wanted 2 baby faces going at it, CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, because that would have been our WrestleMania fucking 12, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, our WrestleMania 17, Rock and Austin. That would have been great.
Maybe for WrestleMania 30, but
Exactly.
for WrestleMania 29, which he was the champion right before it, he lost it at the Rumble. I had the triple threat going for 29. For 30, oh, absolutely.
For 30.
That should have been, of course, makes perfect sense there.
Mm-hmm.
Two biggest faces there. But that's my number 5. My number 4, it's a little bit of a swerve. I'm taking it to the world of mixed martial arts. World champions in the UFC is Anderson Silva. This man was as dominant as anyone in the mixed martial arts world. He was a definite worthy world champion, and when he finally did get beat, it was like a surprise. He got caught being cocky and whatnot.
Twice.
And so twice by the same guy.
Exactly.
But the second time he actually broke his leg.
He broke his shin.
Yeah, there you go. And but yeah, that first time though, I was out of my seat. I was like, oh my goodness, what happened? But his world title reign is stuff of legend.
I agree.
Number 3, I have Ric Flair. Ric Flair as world champion, 16-time world champion.
Styling, profiling, wheeling, dealing, keys dealing, son of a gun.
Driving by right now.
Yeah, right. So yeah, Ric Flair, definitely a man that has all the legacy and all the championship, pedigree in professional wrestling, for sure. Number 2, going back to MMA, I have John Jones.
Yes.
As light heavyweight champion.
Thank you.
Regardless of whatever people say of, oh, but he this or oh, he that, or
I don't give a shit.
No, none of that matters. Light heavyweight champion, and honestly, I really see him getting that heavyweight title. The heavyweight division is not as stacked as the light heavyweight division, in my opinion. So, John Jones, in my opinion, is the greatest of all time, greatest champion in mixed martial arts of all time.
In the light heavyweight, because for me the best one. Sorry to cut you off.
Sure.
Best one is when he faced Gustafsson for the first time. That when he faced Gustafsson, oh my God, I thought Gustafsson was about to beat him. If Gustafsson he had the chance, and you saw it, he had the chance, but he slipped. Gustafsson, honestly, that should have been more Gustafsson's fight, but he slipped. Honestly, I might
watch that just because of I like that where he makes the comeback and pulls that victory out.
Oh my God, yeah, but see, they were both tired out, and both of these 5 rounds were incredible. Like, they're the same fucking height.
Yeah.
Same length, I believe so.
I think so.
I believe by an inch or two, I think.
If not, it's very close.
Yeah, it's very close. But, man, the style of this fight, ooh, I was the edge off my seat, bro.
And John Jones has gone on record to saying that he did not prepare for that fight. That he fought that fight after a weekend of hookers and cocaine. That's what he said. And so, the rematch, he dominated, but
Gustafsson wasn't the same no more.
No, his time, was that first fight for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But Jones, absolutely. And my number one, great minds think alike. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's right.
That is right. He saved Vince McMahon's company from being taken over, right? We would have been here talking about WCW Nitro and the brand split for WCW.
And Thunder.
Thunder. We would be talking about that right now. So, but Steve Austin, man, for me, and I'm very glad that I got to see that as a teenager because I was the demographic that it was aimed for. I feel, I was like 14, and I got to see the Attitude Era. I got to see Austin and Rock, and but Austin led the way for sure. And it sucks that he had the injury, and he missed on the year 2000 because I feel the year 2000 was really probably the peak for me. Storyline wise, you had wrestlers coming in from WCW, and Rock was big and stuff like that. So, it sucks that he missed out on that year, but it does not take away from the legacy that he has as a champion.
That interview with Goldberg, where Goldberg's like, "Who's your dream opponent who you never got to face?"
He said, "You."
that sends chills down my spine.
Of course. I mean, I would love to see that in a prime of their prime, But let's say, like how Mike said, maybe in the 2000s or when did Goldberg came in? Goldberg came in and when?
98.
To WWE.
97. Oh, to WWE?
Mm-hmm.
2003.
No, 3. Maybe let's say Boston was still okay at that time.
Austin had just retired.
Yeah, he just retired. If let's say he wouldn't have retired and just had that match, maybe, but it wouldn't be the same. I don't think so.
Then?
Even then, I don't. Well, no, I don't see it. It's just to get 2 brawlers doesn't make any fucking sense. Goldberg. Sorry, I mean, I have respect for Goldberg, but his in-ring abilities compared to Austin's brawling, get 2 different styles, would not be a great mesh.
Let Austin call the whole thing. Just let him call.
That's what I would do. I have Austin call the shots. He'll just say, "Hey, all right, son, I want you to go ahead and do this to me, do that. I don't want you to do that scary bullshit, man." That's
exactly.
Like
the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. But yes, great minds think alike.
Just they do. And 2 honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I have to mention Kurt Angle.
Of course.
Cannot go wrong with your Olympic and everyone's Olympic hero.
Exactly.
with a
You know,
broken freaking neck.
Not only an Olympic champion, but also a WWF champion and a WCW champion. Although his WCW championship was very short, you know.
Also to bring up former Olympic champion, former WWE champion, former WCW, former World
TNA.
Heavyweight, and TNA, and even though this doesn't count, but because Matt can tell you it doesn't really count, the IWGP champion,
It's the IGF.
the IGF champion. There you go.
Smoky Genome Federation.
Yes. So yeah,
Third belt.
Kurt Angle had the gold. He had all the gold.
The only thing that would have been missing was that the UFC heavyweight title.
Oh my god.
Or light heavyweight, I think.
You would have been better light heavyweight.
Yeah.
In TNA, he was a Triple Crown champion. He had I think he had the tag team, the X Division, and the
He had all the gold in TNA.
That was crazy. That was like one of the world rare times in history. If somebody's a Triple Crown. He defended 3 belts in one night too.
Yes. Yes, he did.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a Hall of Famer through and through, you know?
Yes.
And my final honorable mention is The Game, Triple H. Who, you know, after the whole Madison Square Garden thing and being seen as Shawn Michaels' sidekick, he overcame that and became one of the fiercest champions ever. You know, I always remember his title reign in 2000, the earlier 2000. I wanted him to lose so badly.
Oh, I think we all did.
And he did his job as the heel. We wanted him to lose, and you know, when he did, it was just this finally sort of thing. Backlash 2000. You know, Austin came back and hit everybody with the chairs and whatnot. And oh my goodness, like they just don't do that anymore. You know, I want to feel that again. You know, but yeah, and you don't have any of that without a champion that is doing his job, and that was Triple H.
He did not, and you're absolutely right. He did a phenomenal job. Because even when the time when Austin took a break before he came back, like great feud with him and Mick Foley, Rock, and he never actually fought for taking for the belt. I don't think Jericho. That was another great one. Yeah, I'm 100% with you. He pissed us off. I didn't like him. Like, you lose his every pay-per-view. Mike will tell you. Of course, he will, you know, chill together, watch him, order pizza, relax, watch the damn freaking matches, and we were like, come on. No, we're all mad as hell. We walked out of there like, what the fuck, man? Should have been this guy.
So, hit you with that Triple H.
Okay, so we got that out of the way. What about now as a present? So for the present, do you feel that these current champions, are they one of the greatest? Or they're not even peak at their level? So we got Roman as Universal. We got Drew McIntyre. Yeah. We got John Moxley. We got Tetsuya Naito. We got Nick Aldis. I already mentioned John Moxley, did I? No, not yet. Okay. And who else do we have?
I don't know who Impact's person.
Impact.
Great. Oh, yeah. Impact is Eric Young. And then we have, in Ring of Honor, we have Jay Lethal. So we have, 7 big promotions that are already known. Do you feel that they're at their peak at their level at any one of them?
The current champions right now.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard to say because it's happening right now. We don't know what the end game of their title reigns is and how it'll end up. But man, I don't know. I would have to say Roman Reigns. He seems to be the more experienced as to, carrying the brand on his shoulders. And I know we didn't get to this during the Circle of Debate on Friday, but I am intrigued by his heel turn, and I am intrigued that I have never been more interested in Roman Reigns than I am right now. That he just shows up at the end, Just a little bit that we see. That's what okay. The less Roman we see, that's I think better. And but in the end, it'll really come down to his title defenses, how he wins the matches. Because as a face, it was not interesting at all. Let's see how it goes as a heel.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Let's see how it goes as a heel with him. I'm intrigued. I just want to see what else. This is really his first title defense against his own cousin. So I need someone bigger than him. No offense to Jey Uso, but I need something a little bit more of a mid-card level person to be like an underdog for Roman Reigns. I need to see someone better, better competition for me to get an idea of how they're doing his heel, storyline with it, his plot with Paul Heyman. I need to see more. So I'm just pretty getting the tip of the iceberg, getting the taste of it. So we'll see. But I will say right now, for me, right now would be Naito. I have to go with Naito because I like him. He's now they're no longer looking at Okada. Okada is like your John Cena of fucking New Japan. Naito for me is like the Randy Orton of New Japan because you have those two top stars that carry the company for many years. And Naito is, Tanahashi, sorry. Your time is done, bro. You're done. I mean, you had your moment. You had your chance.
He held it more than anybody else.
I respect that, but still, I think it's Naito's time for him. It's time for Naito to do. He's gonna be he's the next Randy Orton of New Japan. He'll lose it, win him back again. He'll lose it, win him back again. So now it's his turn. Okada is out of the picture. So right now for the one who's gonna be up there we'll talk about it in the next 10 years from now. Will be Naito. Naito will be the next one. Will go down as one of the greatest world champions. What about you, Mr. Steamboat?
I gotta say, because to correct you earlier, the current Ring of Honor champion is Rush right now.
No, wait a minute. I thought it was Jay Lethal. He won him back, right?
I checked it up just now on the site. It's currently Rush.
I thought it was Jay Lethal.
No, Jay Lethal. Let's see. I'm looking at the champion. It's listed. The current champion. Rush at the moment.
He lost to the PCO, and then PCO
lost it back from PCO. List of Ring of Honor World Champions. Yeah, he got it back from PCO at Gateway to Honor. So Rush is still the current Ring of Honor champion at the moment.
Unless Jay Lethal was an interim.
Yeah, Jay Lethal had it in 28. The last time Jay Lethal had it was 2019 when he lost it to Matt Taven. So, but Jay Lethal, I do want to mention him because he's like, if we're not measuring in terms of popularity, though, Jay Lethal's he's a great workhorse. He's very charismatic, very talented in ring. Amazing. He's just amazing all over. He's great at being the face of a company. I remember watching like the top 10 things to know about Ring of Honor, and he's the one like representing Ring of Honor in that video.
Yes, he is.
Very underrated and amazing athlete. I'm still learning more about Rush. I'm still like new to everything that he's about. PCO, he's like, the veteran that he's the veteran that was really long overdue. But I'm kind of glad.
He was Pierre, I think, from WWF, the guy with the patch.
Yeah, and he wrestled Bret Hart.
That was a great match, by the way, too.
Yeah.
But Rush, though, I can tell you about Rush. So Rush, obviously, he's a former champion for CMLL, Consejo Mundial. I don't think he ever won a belt in AAA. Obviously, we know his dad and Terrible. His dad. Is it Terrible? No, Perion, I think. Perion? I forgot. But his dad, very popular, very popular heel. If Rush can be the champ now, it's not a bad move. I think it's a great move. Rush attributes is great. He has a great charisma. He could talk his ass off in the mic, even though his English is not the greatest, because he's Mexican. But he's ingobernables, man. He's one of us.
You got Ingleborg Nobles on both Ring of Honor and New Japan right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I agree with everything you said about Naito. Who I compared Naito to is more of like, you know, just character-wise, is how I not in-ring wise or how much the crowd loves him, but like just character-wise, I probably more like Stone Cold and CM Punk, that renegade, that rogue, that wolf. You know, oftentimes they're chasing the title more often than not, but it's kind of cool that they gave Naito such a long title reign and they let him drop it and then get it back. And they gave him that. I think the best moment of 2020, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, the best moment of 2020 is for in wrestling. The best moment, I'm going to say it, the best moment in all of wrestling for 2020 was when Naito was like under the fireworks winning that title back from Evil.
Yeah.
You know, outside. It's a beautiful moment. You know, you take pictures of it and so many things like that.
I forgot to mention Finn Balor, NXT. I forgot about that. So that's another. You know what? He is a great current champion, honestly.
Yeah,
I think he is being a two-time
Universal champion. He was the first Universal.
Oh, it's only for 24 hours.
Yeah.
It sucks. But yeah, no, I agree with you about the Naito part. Reason why I said Randy Orton because it's like now the shine's on him. But that's what I'm basing it on. I'm basing it about the shining on him. But the characters, yes, it does mix with CM Punk and Austin. It does. He's a careless, you know. That's why it's called Los Ingobernables because you're against rules. You know,
Non-governmental.
Yeah, non-governmental. Yep. There you go. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you very much for tuning in for the top 5 for week 20. So stay tuned for next Sunday as we're going to give our top 5 for week 21, which is going to be our top 5 who should have been world champions. Our top 5. I mean, that's going to be interesting because there's a lot of people that we have in our minds who should have been world champion, who should be maybe right now world champion. That never had the opportunity to carry the world champion. So stay tuned. Exactly. Stay tuned for that.
Jey Uso.
Okay, I don't know if he's your top 5, but okay.
No, bottom 5.
Oh wow, bottom negative, -5. But definitely stay tuned for that, and also don't forget to stay tuned next Friday. Obviously, you'll see episode 21, so stay tuned for that. You'll get a lot more updates of what's going on in the pro wrestling world and more news and keeping you updated with everything. Don't forget, we will actually put in the description below. Don't forget to follow our social media platforms. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel right at the end of the video. And also to our website where we'll be putting as well. We'll have more content, so bear with us once again, ladies and gentlemen. So this is us saying to you, the Devious One here, I will see, and the great American hero, the hero of all heroes, 12-inch pythons, Mike Lopez, and also the Seidels, the Perdonas, the Kellermans, the whatever he wants to be. I mean, I don't know. The Stang. I mean, well, he's not Stang. But Mr. Matthew Steamboat, ladies and gentlemen, we're saying to you guys, good night, salud, and we will see you next Friday and next Sunday.